Hi, good morning everyone. I just thought I'd hop on here real quick and give y'all a little bit of an update and answer the few questions that I gotten on my last video, and just to check in with you all and make certain that you all knew that I was still alive and kicking. So, I was in the hospital in my last video, and when I was released, I came home with IV and had to do home infusion 3 times a day, and that was no fun. It was a terrible experience, but I got through it, and I'm still doing wound care here at home. My doctor is trying to get me on a program for lymphedema drainage wrappings at home so that I won't be put back in the hospital. I have serious problems with my lymph glands. They're not moving the fluids the way they should, and the fluids are pooling in my thighs and hips, and there's really nothing that can be done about that other than just the compression wraps and easing the pressure out of the leg, basically. I'm not real steady on my feet, so she doesn't really want me to walk too much, but that's another way that it can probably help this issue that I'm having. So I've been trying to walk as much as I can, but you know, it's hard. So anyway, I'm going to get on to the questions that were asked to me the last video. My first question was from Randy, from Random Randy's Ramblings. Of all the things you crocheted, what would you say your favorite project ever was? I really enjoy doing the virus stitch. I've done a couple of shawls and a couple of blankets, and I think that was probably my favorite. But on the other hand, I did a granny square cardigan shrug for an elderly woman in my church, and it came out really good. So, and seeing her wear that really boosts my spirits a lot. So it's a toss up between those two, I think. My next question was from Terry from Yarn Joy Podcast. She asked, how did you start to crochet? I went on vacation to visit my dad and his family, and my dad's twin sister, whom I'm actually named after, my Aunt Sue, was sitting there crocheting for one of her grandbabies, and I was just sitting there watching her, and I said, I'd like to do that. So she gave me a hook and some yarn and told me to make a chain, and which I already knew how to do because in Girl Scouts we used to make chains doing the slip stitch, but basically holding it with our toes. So I already knew how to do the chain. I think the most difficult part for me was holding the hook and maneuvering the hook and holding the yarn at the same time. So, but that is how I began to crochet, was through my dad's twin sister. And when I got back home, I realized that she'd only taught me one stitch. She taught me the double crochet. And then I realized, you know, when I got back home, that there were so many more stitches to learn. So I had bought a book from Walmart that came with the crochet hooks. You know, I taught myself to crochet and took it from there. I actually taught myself the rest. And then when YouTube started doing these tutorials, well, then I really jumped on and started doing more. So my next question is from Angelia from Crocheting House Mouse. She asks, what is my favorite brand of hook and yarn? I started off using the boy hooks but gradually I realized that the Susan Bates hooks are really to my liking. I seem to be able to pull it through, when you yarn over and you pull through. I pull it through much cleaner and nicer and easier with the Susan Bates hooks rather than the boy hooks. So I do prefer the Susan Bates over the boy hooks. My husband, who I taught to crochet, does not like my Susan Bates hooks at all. He prefers the boy hooks. So I basically gave him all the boy hooks and started by myself the Susan Bates hooks. So yeah. And my favorite yarn, I think just for convenience sake, I have to say Red Heart Super Saver. The versatility of it, the color options, just the convenience of it, really. Like, I have one very, very small Joann's close to me, and that's about the only place that I can get to other than Walmart. So, Red Heart is, yeah. So my next question is Happiness is Homemade, from Happiness is Homemade, and she asked any advice on blocking. I personally have never blocked an item, and the only reason being is because I live in a very small apartment and I have 3 dogs, 2 cats that would be all over it in no time flat, and there's just really no place to block it that would be safe here. Unless I hung it on the wall. So I really don't have any advice on blocking. I have watched a few tutorials on blocking and how to go about doing that. My hair is literally in a knot, y'all. So, yeah, I'd suggest just checking out some of those video tutorials. There's some really good ones on YouTube. But personally, I've never blocked anything. And, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to, get on here and briefly update you all and tell you that I am doing fine, and, luckily I'm not running fever anymore, and I'm feeling more like myself, so, I haven't, however, crocheted a single bit since I got sick. Not even picked up a hook or anything. I went through a brief little depression where I just basically slept for 3 days straight, and so I had to force myself to get over it, get up, and get busy doing something. So got up and yeah, gotta get back into the groove of things. So hopefully these works in progress that I have going will find their way onto my hook and get finished. And I wanted to thank you all for your encouragement and your support and your thoughtfulness and kindnesses and just the amazing comments. And for all you new subscribers, I'm sorry that you're getting this crazy little video of random chit chat, but hopefully soon I'll be back into the groove of crocheting and I'll have something more viable to show you all. And again, thank you to all my old subscribers, and to the new ones. I just hope you enjoy yourselves, and happy crocheting. God bless.